Hi, a very warm welcome to Dusty Shelf Collectibles, and I hope I find you well. Today, new release from Hornby. This is the Flying Scotsman fitted with the HM7000 TXS sound chip and a new steam generator. So this was released at the weekend and arrived on my doorstep this morning. I've had this on order for an awful long time, so I just looked back up on my orders on Hornby, and I placed the order for this on the 14th of the 1st 2022, which means I've been waiting for this Loco for 2.5 years, and it's finally arrived. Now, this isn't the first release from Hornby with a steam generator. They did release the P2, the Prince of Wales. I believe that one's already come out. I didn't order that one, but I've seen a few reviews online and it does look rather good. But I particularly wanted the Flying Scotsman, quite close to my heart, this Loco, and yeah, one of my favourite ones. So I'd ordered this with the steam generator in. Now, you may have seen my video. I did a couple of them on the HM7000 chip. I fitted one of these to a steam Loco. I've also reviewed a Class 66 with the chip in there, and I said at the time, you know, with the sounds and the control on the mobile phone and everything else, and the wireless control, that it felt like a game changer. Well, I'm kind of expecting this to take model railways to a whole new level with the steam generator in there. Now, this isn't a new thing. As you've probably seen, there have been other manufacturers with the steam generator. I think it was TXS originally came out with it, and as I say, Hornby have already released a Loco with it in there, so it's not something new. But I'm rather looking forward to seeing what it looks like with the Flying Scotsman model that you see here. So going back to the placing the order, this is the catalogue, edition 68 in 2022. You can see the delivery here, £10.99 at the time for the catalogue. And let's just have a look in here, and there you can see the steam generator locomotives. This is the one that's already been out. You can see here Prince of Wales, the P2, and you see down here the Flying Scotsman R3991SS, same as on the box here, R3991SS, and it says here British Rail A3 class 462 60103 Flying Scotsman with a die-cast footplate and flickering firebox in Era 4. And you see it says here, utilising the latest Hornby DCC sound decoder, linked to the new and unique Hornby Steam Generator locomotives, varying degrees of steam emissions can be programmed in line with not only the speed of the locomotive, but also, and arguably more importantly, while the model is stationary. So that's the bit I'm really looking forward to. And just to close this piece out with the book at the top here, what better way to add the realism to any model railway scene than to have not only the mighty sound of a powerful locomotive, but also the great clouds of steam billowing out through the locomotive's chimney. Now, I'm just going to mention at this point, obviously, that Hornby did do live steam at, way back in the past, around about the turn of, I think it was about 2000, 2002, and Flying Scotsman was actually released as a live steam model. So there has been a Flying Scotsman with clouds of steam coming out of it. So this is with the steam generator, so obviously a little bit cheaper and probably a little bit more reliable and less complexity. Right, on to the price then. So this Loco is just shy of £300. Hornby have a retail price on this of £292, I believe it is, and I've seen it at a couple of the retailers for £260. Because I placed my order 2.5 years ago, I did pay a little bit less than that, but yeah, still quite an expensive Loco, so it has to be good. And if you know me, I'm quite firm but fair, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Now, the first thing to mention is the box. So if I just bring in this version of the Flying Scotsman, so this was released in 2001. And it's exactly the same model. It's got the die-cast footplate, it's got the flickering firebox, but the point to make with these is the difference in the box. Now, if I just turn this box up right here and this one up here, you can see the presence that this new steam generator box has, and I'm going to liken this, for those of a certain age, into going into a record shop back in the day when you used to go in and buy an LP and there was all the artwork on the cover, and you take it away and it was just an event actually opening up the artwork and the cover before you put the record in. And that was somehow lost with you know, when we moved across to CDs. It was never the same. I think that's the same with this, but sort of in the reverse. So with the standard sort of Hornby packaging where you slide open the box and the model's presented to you in its blister pack, it's lost, you know, it's not quite so appealing, shall we say, as when you get a box with this kind of presence, this kind of size. And yeah, it just feels like you've actually purchased something of some gravitas, if you understand my meaning. So having said that, just picking up round the box, so minimum radius is 438mm, as you'd expect with this type of Loco. DCC fitted 21 pin connection. Now going back to the previous release of the Flying Scotsman, this one was only actually released with an 8 pin connector in it, so there has been an upgrade from there. Other points on the box, obviously I've mentioned the TXS sound and the steam generator. On the side here there's a little bit of information about the Flying Scotsman, and a bit about this is the first Hornby Flying Scotsman model to feature a steam generator. It's an innovative step forward towards replicating prototypical steam locomotives on a layout. The emitted water vapour from the chimney truly enhances the realism. This Hornby model of the Flying Scotsman not only boasts a 5-pole skew wound motor, but also a die-cast running plate which adds to the increased weight and improved traction. As I say, words about the Flying Scotsman here. I will read a few of these out when we do some detailed shots of the Loco a little bit later. And there's a note down here about the National Railway Museum, obviously owning the Flying Scotsman, and this is produced under licence from them. And this rather nice emblem here, live for the journey, not for the destination. I really do like that. That's a nice saying. I'm going to use that one, I think. On the back of the box, not really much to show, just the usual, you know, not for children under 14. And it does say down here, manufactured for Hornby models in Westwood, Margate. And then on this side of the box, we've just got a little schematic of the train coming into shot, showing the steam, and again repeating what's inside the box. So anyway, let's open this up. I'm just going to move this back round. So as I say, the box really does have a presence. Having said that though, there is obviously a downside to this, because if you stack your models as I do on the shelf in a nice orderly manner, when you suddenly get a box that's double the size of all the others, it really does upset the aesthetics. But I think that's a small price to pay. As I say, I quite like this. Sort of feels like an event of kind of opening it. So let's try and slide it out. So just lifting off the lid, first thing, we're presented with some nice foam packaging, unlike the previous model which just slid out straight into the blister pack. Once that's removed though, however, you've got your foam padding round, it's still in the blister pack. And there's an important note, steam generator note. This must be an addendum to the instructions. So when using the steam generator, please be careful not to overfill the reservoir. Do not exceed the maximum capacity of 3 millilitres. Once filled, run the locomotive dry before attempting to fill with any more water to ensure the 3 millimetre limit is not exceeded. So it's interesting whether if you do overfill it, does it do any damage, or does it just stop it working? I don't know. We'll find out in a bit, I guess, when we read the full instructions. I'll just pop that there. So lifting out the blister pack, this is the standard blister pack that we've all come to know and love, so nothing particularly special there, but as I say, quite nice to have the surroundings, keeping the model safe in this sort of foam padding. I'll just put that to one side. Right, let's have a look at the instructions first of all. Just move this box. Right, and there's some instructions here on the Bluetooth decoder. So the decoder itself is fitted inside the Loco. You download an app to your phone. I'm not going to go into too much detail on the HM7000. I've done that in the previous video. But basically with an app on your phone, you can then select the Loco and just literally control it from your phone via Bluetooth. You just provide power to the track and it kind of bypasses all the old controls and everything. It's just all on your phone, and you literally select the Loco once it's all set up. Nice and straightforward. These are instructions telling you how to link the two, and then on this side it gives you the function numbers and what each of those do. You've got everything from coal shoveling to injector noises to steam whistles, but we'll go through those once we get the Loco on the track and see what they sound like. So in terms of the other bit of paper here, let's have a look. So just general running hints, usual things that you'd find on the instructions for one of the Hornby Locos. Gives you lubrication points, some information here to how to change the couplings over. It's got the NEM coupling that you can fit onto both the front of the Loco and the tender. Changing the chip should you wish to do it, and the little sugar cube speaker. Now here we've got the changeover of the wheels. So in a lot of modern Hornby Locos, they have a fixed pony truck, and the Loco is actually provided with flangeless wheels so that it can make the radiuses. Now if you do want to display it, they do provide a second set of wheels. I'm assuming they'll be in here, we'll have a look in a moment, which is a flange set. So if you're displaying the Loco, you can remove the flangeless wheels, put the flange set on there and make it aesthetically correct. Couple of steps to fit either side, and the drain cocks as well. We've got a fireman and a driver as well, and obviously the brake mechanisms to fit underneath. And then over here, this is where it becomes a little bit more interesting. We've got the new type of coupling, which is a push fit connector with this tiny little ball joint that clips onto the tender and Loco. We'll have a look at that in a moment. And then steam reservoir filling, running and emptying. So I won't go through this too much, we'll see how we go over there, but it does say here, do not exceed the reservoir's max capacity of 3mm. Overfilling the locomotive with water may cause the chimney exit to become blocked, so that's the reason why. Blocked with water, this happens, insert a small piece of tissue into the chimney and soak up the excess water, so that's the overfilling problem. And then it says to remove the cap just behind the chimney here and put 3mm of water in with, it does say the supplied pipettes, I assume that's in there as well. And over the page, a little bit about Hornby and social media platforms. It's plugging a lot at the moment. And then some safety notices on the back of the instruction manual there. Right, let's get on to the main event, which is the Loco. So just sliding it out of the blister pack. This in here, that's just to take any moisture out of the model. It's just packing material. Right, what have we got in the bag here? I mean, these are the bits we've just seen in the instructions. It says 2 NEM couplings, we've got the drain cocks, there's the flange shed of wheels, so you can see the flange just on the side there, hopefully it's shown through the bag. The driver and the fireman, and the brake mechanisms, all in the accessories bag. There's also the front steps on there that haven't been fitted. So nothing new from the instructions. And then, as always, I do like this when you open the blister pack and you pull this open, and the model does get presented to you. So I'm just going to lift this out to one side, like so, and let's get rid of the packaging. I'm going to start by separating the tender and Loco, and you just pull the two apart. Right, and let's just have a quick look at the connection. So just here you can see the little ball joint on the end. It's just showing up on the picture there just by my finger, and just above it is a socket, and it's quite simple really. This tongue that you can see on the end here with the connections just slides into the socket, and then underneath the ball joint just clips onto the Loco. Now it feels quite flimsy. I don't know how robust these are, but I've had this on a couple of Locos and I haven't had a problem. I think the key to it is to make sure when you do put the two back together is you do it on a level surface and you just gently push the two together and it just clips in. So that's the bit I think that you just got to be careful with. So let's have a quick look at the tender to start with. And one of the things I'm pleased to see is, I've mentioned this on a couple of reviews I've done lately, where particularly Hornby, they do all the detailing in the cab of the Loco and then just mould a couple of features into the tender. And this is probably one of the first I've seen which has got some areas picked out. You can see the little white markings onto the tender here. It's got the works number on the top there. I think that's the works number, I can't read it. But also it looks like a couple of fitted, separately fitted brake levers on here. And I don't know what this is on the back here, but there's a very, very refined piece of plastic just poking out the tender at the top there. Somebody may inform me what that is. Very, very fragile. I'm not going to touch that. Cool. You can see a couple of moulded features here, and then round the sides the printing is beautifully done. A couple of flash marks down the side of the tender that I've seen on quite a few of Hornby's Locos recently. That's a bit disappointing. It's not too proud, but when I run my finger down the side I can feel it's all rough down the side again along the base here. Not too bad on this side, but yeah, it's still there, little flash marks, which is quite frustrating. Again, the printing's pretty good on this side. Got separately fitted handrails here, and on the rear of the Loco, separately fitted handrails, and the steps look, I don't know if they're moulded in or separately fitted, but they do look rather good. And the buffer lead beam looks great, and we've got the vacuum pipe just mounted on the back there that looks very nice. Sprung buffers, yes, sprung buffers on there, and obviously the NEM coupling in there. Underneath you can see the brake mechanism, and I do like the moulding's very, very crisp all along the base here. I think you know, this is obviously been in production for a little while now, since at least 2001 when the previous model was released, and yeah, there's not really much to say. It's quite crisp and quite well put together. Right, moving on to the Loco, let's start at the cab end. So inside the cab, exquisitely detailed. Looks superb. I mean, all of the pipes are picked out. You can see the brake valves are all picked out. There's a little brake handle, the handbrake handles all picked out, individually painted. Got 2 seats either side for the driver and the fireman, and obviously in the centre there will be the flickering firebox. The pressure gauges just underneath the roof. I will get some detailed pictures of these later, but they've got all of the dials printed on them. Yeah, absolutely so well done. Probably one of the better cabs I've seen from Hornby. We've got the board that runs between the Loco, I forget the name of it now, there is a technical name for it, but this plate that runs between the Loco and the tender, all picked out in checker plate, which looks rather superb, and obviously the two little side doors are on there as well. Got a little glass, quarter glass on the sides of the cab, on both sides, which looks rather nice, and separately fitted rails either side of the cab, as you see. The pony truck underneath, as I mentioned, it's a fixed pony truck. It's actually made of plastic, this part. Obviously got a die-cast running board, but this is made of plastic. But you can see on here the flangeless wheels that are on there to allow this to go around the layout. And as I mentioned, you can change these to flanged ones should you so wish, if you're displaying the Loco. In terms of the livery down the side, absolutely superb. I love the detailing at the front here and the works plate on the side of the smoke box. The name Flying Scotsman picked out absolutely beautifully, and all the lining down the side is absolutely spot on. Now on top of the cab, we've also got some separately fitted pressure valves, and you can see there the steam whistle, and these little skylights on top of the cab. You can move them backwards and forwards, so you please, if you want them open or closed. They're just on little sliders there. Separately fitted handrails here and down the main side. Right, now while we're on top of the Loco, just picking up on the banding around the boiler, I have to say, again, this is another one of Hornby's Locos that I've noticed this on. It's just not crisp. I mean, it's not as bad as some that I've had recently, particularly the 00 Locos. But you can see here the paint, hopefully it's showing up on the camera, it's just not crisp. It's a little bit blotchy, and the lines are all different sizes, and particularly around here you can see there's a little bit of line missing, and then it gets a bit thicker. It's just not crisp. When you look at the lining on the rest of the Loco, this is all absolutely perfect, beautifully done, and the lining around the cab, and then you come across to the top of the Loco, probably in the most visual part, and it's just not perfect, which is a little bit disappointing, because they do seem to have a problem with this orange banding. Some of the other Locos that I've got with a different colour banding, more recent Locos, you just don't see this blotching, but it's always in this orange band that they do seem to have a problem. And just mentioning down the side here, I mean, the mechanism is beautifully finished. You can see the linkages here with the sort of groove down the middle where it's been pressed in. Absolutely wonderfully finished. And just moving around to the front of the Loco, obviously we've got there 60103 printed beautifully in the top of the smoke box door. There's a works number, I guess, on the bottom there. It's a bit too small for me to see, but I just want to point out the locking mechanism for the smoke box door, the sort of clock hands you see in the middle. If I turn it to the side, they are separately fitted parts. But another thing just to point out here is the actual smoke box door itself. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there is a gap between the smoke box and the door right at the bottom where it's not fitted properly. I'm just going to try and push that in. No, it's not moved in. I don't want to push it too hard, but there is a gap, which is a shame actually that it's not fitting perfectly into the joint of the plastic there. But again, a small price to pay, I guess. And on the front here, we've got the vacuum pipe, obviously, yeah, very vulnerable and very fragile, so I'm not going to mess around with that. And also, we've got mounting points for the lamps on the front. Again, very vulnerable on there, but very fragile, but the kind of thing you'd expect from a Loco of this quality. And again, sprung-fitted buffers on the front of the Loco. The NEM coupling, I believe, fits onto, well, you can see it's just here on the front pony truck. And on this side of the Loco, again, more detailing and lovely finish. It's an absolutely stunning looking Loco, but that said, very similar to the 2021 version. I've had the two next to each other. I can't actually spot any difference between the two, so it's all in the workings. The 21 pin connector, the sound, and the steam generator. Right, let's just pop the Loco onto the scale so we can give a weight for it. We do know that it does have a die-cast foot plate. Pop that on there. And the Loco itself, 309 grams, and then with the tender comes in at a total weight of 394 grams. Not a bad weight Loco, should be able to pull a lot of carriages, a lot of coaches, but yeah, let's get it on the layout and let's see what it can do. But now we get to the bit that I've really been looking forward to, which is to get this onto the track. I've been looking forward to doing this all day today, waiting for work to finish so I can come out and record this bit before I go and put it on the track and yeah, see what this steam generator really does. Yeah, looking forward to this. So let's get it over to the track and let's see what happens. or just a very small addendum as I go over to the layout, just tucked in the packaging at the top here, little pipette to make sure that you get the 3 millilitres of water measured correctly. Okay, so I've put the Loco on the track, I've connected it up to a power source, and I've brought in my mobile phone with the app on here. Literally turned on the Bluetooth, pressed connect, and it's connected straight away. And just here we've got all the sound functions. I'm just moving this around so the light's not reflecting. You can hear obviously the steam sound there, and then we've got multiple whistle, single whistle. Quite a hollow sound on the whistle on this one actually. Got the injector. You see all the different sounds here. Wheel slip. Oh no, we've got no wheel slip. Coal shoveling. What we got on page 2, guard's whistle. Okay, fireman's breakfast. And then on here, chuffing sound. No, nothing there. And just some lighting that this Loco is not fitted with. So there you go, so the sound's all working. So next step is to put some water in, and I believe what we do is, this is a little filling cap here. If I can lift it off, there we go. And then we put 300 millilitres of water in, being careful not to get it on the Loco. Okay, let's put the filling cap back on. Okay, so I've filled the Loco up with water, as you saw. I've actually had to put a little bit more in there just to get the smoke to work, and I've put the filler cap back in. Now bringing the app back into the shot of the screen, all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to press at the top here the sound function on and off, and if I do that, we should get smoke from the chimney. And with this now, I can simply move the Loco back and forth, and the smoke and sound should be synchronized. So if I just now power up very gently on the app, you can see the Loco quite happily all in sync. And again on the app, if I just reverse the direction, it should come back the other way. Fortunately the steam's off screen at the moment, which is not helpful. I'll do that again with it in shot. So just bring the app in, and I'm just going to change direction. Absolutely superb. Now I said when the HM7000 chip came out, when I reviewed it before, with the onboard sound, what a game changer. But this smoke generator has just taken model railways to a completely new level. Absolutely amazing. I'm over the moon with this. Let's come back the other way. Right, so with the smoke still coming out the chimney there, I'm just going to pan along. I've now taken the camera off the tripod. I'm just going to try and get in here and show you the inside. You see the flickering firebox inside. And what's actually quite good about this is it's reflecting in the tender. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but we just come out because it's struggling to focus. And just make out the flickering reflecting off the tender. Very, very effective. Right, reading from the side of the box, A1 Class 4472 Flying Scotsman entered traffic on the 24th of February 1923, unnamed, as LNER number 1472. Selected as the LNER's prestigious exhibit for the then forthcoming British Empire exhibition at Wembley, it emerged from Doncaster Works on the 2nd of March 1924 with the company's coat of arms adorning the cabside and new name and number 4472 Flying Scotsman. On the 1st of May 1928 and fitted with a corridor tender, Flying Scotsman undertook the first non-stop run from London to Edinburgh. As the first steam locomotive to achieve the official 100 miles an hour in November 1934, the speedy Flying Scotsman has since become an icon of British railway engineering. In 1946, Flying Scotsman was renumbered twice by the LNER to 502 and 103 and emerged from rebuilding to an A3 specification in January 1947. Railway nationalisation in 1948 saw Flying Scotsman renumbered to 60103, while the following year BR painted the locomotive an express passenger blue livery. This was carried until a repaint into BR green in 1954, the colour it would carry until its withdrawal in 1963. Right, let me try and do a conclusion to this video. So I've waited an awful amount of time for this Loco, 2.5 years. It's finally arrived, and overall I'm really pleased with it. I love the effects on it, and you know, it is a stunning looking Loco. However, there are problems. So I'm not happy to see flashing on the tender again that I've seen on the last 4 Locos from Hornby. You know, that's just not acceptable. My eye goes straight to it, and I don't think the banding is as good as it could be. I mean, it's not as crisp as it should be on the top there, and again, it seems to be this orange paint. I've had that on 3 or 4 Locos now where the banding is, you know, not quite as precise as it should be. One of them was really awful, that was the Nigel Gresley, but this one's a little bit better. Now onto the sound and the steam generator. So the sound's not too bad. A little bit weak in places. I think some of the whistles are a little bit hollow, but that's not a problem. But the steam generator, now if you remember when I opened the box, there's a little bit of paper in the top of it that said if you overfill the reservoir, the steam will stop as the chimney gets clogged with water. Well, that is the case, and you can clear it with a tissue. However, that clogging happens regardless of whether the reservoir is full, overfull or half full. It happens all the time. It's been happening frequently in the last hour I've had this running around the layout. Now the Loco hasn't missed a beat. It's fantastic around the layout. It's been across all the points, but every other lap the smoke stops or steam stops. You do another lap and then it comes back on again, and it's this continual sort of blocking of the chimney of the water in the system. And I'm guessing by the bit of paper in there, Hornby sort of found this out, I guess, and thought they had a resolution. But I do hate to say, I mean, my particular Loco, you know, it is the steam is stopping on a regular basis, which is, you know, it's a little bit disappointing, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, when it is working, it's absolutely fantastic and it looks superb. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up, and as always, please check out the channel. Lots of videos on there. If you can subscribe, you'd be doing me a really big favour. Helps me out, helps the channel out, gives me encouragement to make more videos. And yeah, with that, I think we'll leave this one there, and I'll just say thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.